So, Dragon Ball Infinity seems to be going towards a time skip at some point, hinting at it through some art on their Facebook page, and it looks like Taima is going to be an adult, and seems like he's going to be going through a set of transformations here that make him look very godlike. The first one seems to be his base form. After that, maybe a Super Saiyan form. I mean, his goatee is red. After that, we get white-haired Taima Blanco. Then we get the Anime War version. And of course, after that is Super Saiyan 4 Taima. And lastly, we get what looks like Master Ultra Instinct Taima. So, the creator of this Dragon Ball fan manga definitely is looking toward the future when it comes to this series.
Know your place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
So at the start of chapter 2, we finally get to see our first bit of action in Dragon Ball Infinity, and these dudes are bullying Champa here for his food, even threatening to eat him at some point, but Taima jumps in and saves the day, punching this dude through one of the dunes. And it's abundantly clear here that Taima's energy and power far surpasses any of the other characters in this series, probably other than the Pharaoh, which I'm not gonna call him by his name, which is Noob. Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Pharaoh. Taima finally returns, and the Pharaoh decides to indulge to him the secret of why they've been slaving away creating pyramids this entire time. And essentially what it is that the pyramids are solar panels. They gather the energy from the sun to be able to power the city, power the hydroponics, so they can have food, because the planet that they're on is essentially a wasteland. So these pyramids act like giant solar panels and are essential for the life of the Beerus race people. Taima then asks the Pharaoh if he's scared of water. The Pharaoh laughs and responds with, "I had a bad experience thousands of years ago with a large body of water, so I avoided, yes." I don't know why, but I like the way the Pharaoh's drawn here. He just looks very beefy. I don't know. He looks very powerful, like a character that is definitely going to be one of the main antagonists in the future. Now we get to something that was covered in the last chapter, but I glossed over it, and that is that they are reaching the 7 days of darkness. And I guess this planet's cycle of the moon and the sun lends it to having just 7 days of night. And once these 7 days come, the pyramids obviously don't work. There's no more sun. So the Pharaoh has to use his own energy to power the city, and so he's stuck on his throne, which is a machine that absorbs his energy and gathers it, puts it into the framework of his society. Now during these 7 days, there are jackals that decide to come out in the darkness and attack the citizens of the society. And so that's going to be an enemy that Taima and his comrades are going to have to contend with at some point here in the story. Now, yeah, I know, very similar to Pitch Black, and essentially making Taima Vin Diesel, because Taima got this life water for the Pharaoh, which I'm assuming helps him power the city in some way. Maybe it gives him more energy to power the city once the 7 days come to the planet. He is able to stay in the palace and indulge in food, bathing, and of course the bays. And it seems like Taima is definitely a furry. After this, he meets with his mother, who has lost her eyesight. So the reason his mother lost her eyesight was because the sun had taken it. She had made repeated efforts into the desert to look for her father, which the Pharaoh banished. And that is how she came across Taima's space pod, because she was out there looking for her father. And at this point, now that she lost her eyesight, she believes her father to be dead because she has not found him yet. Now, her father was part of a group of warriors that were in favor with the Pharaoh, but they secretly thought that the Pharaoh was not a living god on Earth. Despite this, his band of warriors were the ones that were going to get the life water repeatedly for the Pharaoh, and were also fighting the jackals during the 7 days of darkness. And it seems that at some point the Pharaoh found out that her father didn't believe in him anymore, and that's why she thinks that he murdered him by banishing him into the desert. But before he died, he told her the story that we found out in the first chapter about the dual brothers and the dual race. Taima, of course, wants to help his mother and is saying that he's in favor with the Pharaoh, that he could keep her safe. And she responds with, the more you know about the Pharaoh, the closer you get to him, the more out of favor you'll become. So it definitely seems that the Pharaoh is hiding a huge secret. But Taima responds with, okay, I'll keep my guard up, and just asks his mother to get some rest. Toward the end of this chapter, Taima's just walking around the city in the dark, and it seems like he's not used to the 7 days of darkness type of thing, so it seems that probably this is something that doesn't happen regularly. Champa runs through the streets, and he is being chased by the jackals that we heard of throughout this chapter. Taima sees the moon for the first time, presumably, and transforms into an Ozaru. Ultimately, I am very curious at the story that's building up here between Taima and the Pharaoh. It seems very reminiscent of ancient times, like something very biblical, like the Pharaoh takes him under his wing and teaches him everything that he knows, and at some point Taima usurps the Pharaoh and they have sort of a climactic battle. I feel like that's the direction this is going towards, and once the Pharaoh, I believe in the next chapter, is going to see this Ozaru state, he's going to be more on guard with Taima. He's going to be more worried about how much more powerful this character can become, and that's going to develop and build on top of the relationship that obviously the Pharaoh is reaching out toward him for. Anyway guys, that's all I got for you today. This is going to be BlackScape signing off. Take care guys.